Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you follow AI at all, you definitely know Midjourney. They're an absolute powerhouse when it comes to generating stunning digital images. But today, we're looking at a pivot so staggering, it honestly feels straight out of a sci-fi novel. We're talking about an incredible, completely unexpected leap by an AI software company right into the realm of physical, tangible medical technology. So let's just dive right into this and see exactly what on earth they're building. Today, we're going to announce something a little weird and a little crazy, but also spectacular and filled with hope. That's the exact quote Midjourney used to hook everyone when they dropped this announcement. I mean, they leaned right into the sheer surprise of it. They absolutely acknowledge that, yeah, it's a strange move, but they're framing the whole thing as this deeply hopeful, spectacular shift. Their perspective is that as people standing right on the technological frontier, they have an obligation to look at the foundations of the human experience and ask, what do we want to be different? What do we actually want to become? Which begs the question, what exactly is this weird and crazy tech? Well, let's get right to it. In Section 1, a spectacular new era, rethinking the human experience. Moving along to Section 2, meet the Midjourney scanner, a new approach to imaging. Okay, so forget the freezing, claustrophobic, incredibly loud MRI tubes you might be used to. The physical experience they're proposing here is entirely different. It starts by stepping into a shallow pool of warm, golden light. You then begin to physically descend into the water, and as you do, your body passes through a ring of underwater sensors. The absolutely crucial detail here is the speed. Their entire goal is for this whole process to take no more than 60 seconds. Literally, you step into the water, you come out, and you are completely done. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly is a ring of water mapping your internal organs? Well, it's echolocation, literally just like a dolphin. That underwater ring is packed with sensors, and every single one acts like a tiny dolphin pinging its environment. They send ultrasonic sound waves through your body from absolutely every conceivable angle. And by capturing enough of those bouncing waves from enough angles, the system can actually form a complete 3D image of what's happening inside you. What actually makes this work is some incredibly precise, microscopic, ultrasonic hardware. It's a beautifully complex piece of engineering, specifically designed to capture those bouncing sound waves. It literally turns those dolphin-like pulses into a visual map of your internal health. Which brings us nicely to Section 3, visualizing the human body, turning waves into images. When you see the actual output, it's wild. It creates a raw volumetric scan, which is essentially a fully 3D digital block of data. The mapping here is unbelievably detailed. You can clearly make out the intricate textures of the abdominal muscles, the spinal cord, all the complex internal blood vessels. It's a hyper-detailed, raw, reconstructed volume of a human body. And remember, it was captured entirely through sound. Actually, they don't even stop at the raw data. The system then processes that scan into a fully color-coded anatomical breakdown. Suddenly, these incredibly complex internal structures become instantly, clearly readable. The descending colon, the spinal cord, the abdominal aorta, they are all perfectly segmented and color-coded. They're taking highly dense medical data and making it visually striking and, more importantly, actually accessible to look at. And the interface used to explore this, the swept slice UI, is kind of like a digital flipbook for your body. The system reconstructs the torso and the legs, and it allows the user to view the whole volume slice by slice. You seamlessly scroll through these cross-sections. It's just a remarkably fluid, intuitive way to explore the volumetric data that the scanner captured. All right, let's look at Section 4, the Midjourney Spa, finding its form. So instead of a sterile, brightly lit clinic, this is the proposed Midjourney Spa environment. It's warm, highly architectural, and incredibly water-focused. Think soft lighting, smooth textures, tranquil pools. They are completely reimagining the physical space of healthcare. It honestly looks like a high-end wellness retreat. The goal is clearly to make the whole experience of monitoring your health calming and inviting, rather than something that induces anxiety. But how do we get there? That's Section 5, the Roadmap to 2031, Scaling the Vision. So, Let's talk timeline, because it's moving fast. Right now, in the present day, they're actively submitting regular test results to the FDA to push their capabilities forward. Looking ahead just a bit to 2028, that's when they plan to start scaling out to more cities and upgrading to their Generation 3 scanner. They note that Gen 3 is where things get serious. We're talking completely custom silicon that's going to make image quality and scan times literally night and day different. And all of this is building toward a massive, massive milestone in 2031.
1 billion. I really want to emphasize this staggering number. By 2031, their wildly ambitious goal is to have a global fleet of over 50,000 scanners worldwide, hitting a total scanning capacity of 1 billion scans a month. Just to put that into perspective, that's enough to give regular, monthly, preventative scans to a massive chunk of the global population. This scale is the whole foundation of their ultimate vision for global health.
And here's where we hit a really bold claim from them: 30%. Midjourney claims that if everyone has access to early imaging, we can fundamentally change our relationship with our bodies. They state that with enough early preventative imaging, the world could avoid 30% of all deaths and cut 50% of all healthcare costs. Now, as an explainer, I'm just impartially reporting their vision here. Obviously, that is an incredibly utopian claim about the benefits of preventative scanning, but it shows exactly how big they are dreaming. Which leads us to our final section: a community-backed lab, a new kind of research. Because here is the massive differentiator behind all of this. Midjourney has absolutely zero investors. None. They are entirely funded by everyday people using their tools. Because of this, they consider themselves a totally new kind of research entity, a community-backed research lab. They aren't answering to a boardroom of venture capitalists. They are quite literally answering directly to their user base. And that unique model leads directly to an open community invitation. They're putting out a direct call to action right now for the public to jump into their Discord server. They want your thoughts on what you're most excited to see. They want opinions on what the spas should actually look and feel like. And they're even looking for volunteer participants for upcoming clinical trials. They are actively stating that a technology this big needs to be built for everyone. So they need the community's help to build it that way from the ground up. Which brings us all the way back to our final thought. Midjourney hopes this entire announcement proves they're a lab constantly asking what they can build to elevate the human experience. So I'll leave you with the very same foundational question they are asking as they launch this massive endeavor. What do we want to become? It's a provocative challenge, right? Not just about the tech of medical imaging, but about the future of our own health, our communities, and our humanity. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this helped shed some light on Midjourney's wild new frontier.